All right, good evening. Tonight we have running for Hollister City Council District 2, Councilmember Rolan Resendiz, candidate Celeste Toledo-Bocanegra, and candidate Hani Mayzouni. We will begin with 30-second opening statements, starting with candidate Bocanegra.
Good evening, everyone. I hope everyone's doing well. My name is Celeste Toledo-Bocanegra. I am here today because I have decided to run for City Council District 2 to help represent my district, who is the hardworking class citizen and who are underrepresented. I have also noticed these past 2 years our local patriots being underrepresented, and I'm here to bring that representation to all. Our local government needs checks and balances from the school district, city, and board of supervisors.
Thank you.
I will be that representation.
Thank you. Thank you, candidate Bocanegra. We will now move on to Councilmember Resendiz.
Thank you, Bonito Link. Thank you, everyone, for being here in attendance and everyone watching at home. My name is Rolan Resendiz. I'm the current city councilman for District 2 in Hollister, California. I'm a teacher. I work for the Hollister School District, and it has been an extreme honor to represent you for the last 4 years. Some of the things that I've accomplished are to update our general plan, update our county city tax sharing agreement, raise an LGBTQ+ flag for the first time in our city's history, and serve the people of Hollister during a worldwide pandemic. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Resendiz. Candidate Mayzouni.
Good evening, everybody. Thanks for coming. Thanks for being here. My name is Hani Mayzouni. I'm running for District 2. Basically, I'm running because this is my home and this is my family's home. I have 4 children, 3 girls and 1 son. And I have been in the technology field for over 30 years. I'm certified project manager and certified, and I'm just gonna basically saying that I walk the talk. So I'm just gonna really bring in my experience to all of this. Thank you.
Thank you, candidate Mayzouni. We'll now be moving on to our first question. We have had several gang-related shootings over the last couple of years. Hollister Police Department says it is understaffed. What can be done to make Hollister safer? We will begin with Councilmember Resendiz.
Thank you. So I believe that our police officers need to be fairly compensated. It's no secret that some officers are leaving to work in different cities and different counties because they can earn much more money. Here in the city of Hollister, since I've been your elected official, we have given incentives for police officers when they get hired on. We've given incentives for financial reasons for people who want to continue on their education. We have a chief of police who now not only prioritizes our safety, but he has great communication with our city and all of the residents. Our police need to know that we support them 100%. We need to compensate them fairly. We've done so during my time on the city council, and I plan on continuing that. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Councilmember Resendiz. We will now be moving on to candidate Mayzouni.
Sure. So I worked for the sheriff, Cook County in Illinois. I also worked for probation department right here. So you would say that I do have hands-on experience with that kind of, with law enforcement. So I agree that we really need to, look at salaries, look at benefits, really trying to attract the best out there. We also need to do some research. We also need to do some studying. We also do some, we are responsible to make sure that we have the right people for the right position. We have the right people for, with the same averages out there. You cannot attract people over here if you're going to pay less than what the other counties are paying. So you have to really attract the right people to come here, but also we need to do plenty of training and plenty of supporting to the police department. Thank you.
Thank you, candidate Mayzouni. Now moving on to candidate Bocanegra.
So in 2006, I graduated from the police academy, and I went through vigorous training, and I saw firsthand what it meant to be a police officer. And unfortunately, during the past 2 years, there were groups in our community and also throughout the state that wanted to defund the police. Unfortunately, that has trickled down to the city level where we cannot have, or people don't want to apply. So how can we get these younger youths wanting to apply for law enforcement? I think it's just a culture change. We just need to stop going down that narrative that we need to defund the police and stop criminalizing our police officers when they're actually there to help us and save us. And I have done some research, and we are at a good pay rate for a law enforcement officer here in our community. Yes, it could be more, but we need to stop criminalizing our police officers and focus on that so our society gets a better, clear message that we are here to back them up, because I'm here to back up the blue.
Thank you, candidate Bocanegra. Now, for our second question. Why has the city lost so many experienced, quality staff members? How will you keep them and avoid the high turnover? We will begin with candidate Mayzouni.
Sure. This has been a very interesting subject and very hard one to really deal with for the last 20 years or so. There's a lot of different, practical solutions. So one is probably salaries, another one is benefits, but also you have to find an environment. You have to find the right training and the good training. You also have to find the support. All these things really combine together, as a package for the staff. So if the staff feels that they're comfortable where they're working based on their salary, based on their innovation, based on their creativity, and based on their support from the staff, from the rest of the organization, you'll have staff come around. I've been in the business for over 30 years. I worked for government, and I also worked for private sector. I know how to keep the staff around. Thank you.
Thank you, candidate Mayzouni. We can now be moving on to candidate Bocanegra.
Okay, so can you repeat the question, please?
Yes. Why has the city lost so many experienced, quality staff members? How will you keep them and avoid the high turnover?
I think working in probation or having just a general community position in our local community, I've noticed that no one just wakes up in the morning and says, I'm going to be a great manager. I think the training involved and understanding that the managers are here to help our community members in every aspect, probation, just public health, just understanding that people have regular lives of family and struggles. And with our economy these days, everyone is struggling. There's not one person here not struggling. So just understanding, just being that regular human and individual, and taking that extra step to have the perfect training.
Thank you, candidate Bocanegra. We will now have Councilmember Resendiz.
Thank you. It's no secret that the city and the county are known for having basically been a training ground for people to leave us and go work in the Bay Area to earn much more money. Many of the citizens already commute to go to the Bay Area. The reason is they cannot afford to live here comfortably. They cannot afford to provide for their families. They cannot afford to buy a home. This goes back to the irresponsible way that we've been developing for years. I do think that we need to support yes on Measure Q, allow the people a chance to decide on how we grow in the future, so that teachers like myself, nurses, and everybody else, like our police officers, can afford to live here and not leave us to go live somewhere else. Hollister's a beautiful city, and our county is a beautiful county. But if we keep making the same mistakes of the past and we keep developing as we have in the past, with the Board of Supervisors being controlled by special interests, then that's what we're going to have in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Resendiz. We will now have question 3. Governor Newsom has announced that he intends to build millions of homes over the next 10 years. Cities will be fined for not complying. What are your ideas to provide affordable housing in Hollister? We will begin with candidate Bocanegra.
This is very true to me, because in District 2, we have a lower class income, and this is a must. I will do everything in my effort to push back within our city and work and collaborate with other cities and see how we can push back against these mandates, at least focus on making sure that if Governor Newsom wants to bring housing, then hey, you know what? These are our grounds. You want to bring housing, you need to fix our infrastructure. On the west side, we're having a ton of older grandfather streets that need to be repaved. And so I can start naming them out: Circle Verde, Ranchito Court. So all these older grandparent streets need to be repaved. And under this administration now, nothing that hasn't been happening. All we've gotten is bumps and the roundabouts. And that's not gonna work. I'm sorry, we need better system.
Thank you, candidate Bocanegra. Now we will have Councilmember Resendiz.
Thank you. Again, it goes back to being factual with our information and not spreading lies and mistruths here. It is not true. It is not true that we have to build within our county. We're actually exempt from building within our county because we're considered rural agricultural land. We have a problem with special interest developers paying funds to candidates during campaign time, and then they in turn vote in favor for their projects. We need to vote yes on Measure Q, and yes, we do need more local control. We have to look at very creative ways in order to start building higher density, more affordable housings. And let's be honest, the fact of the matter is that we're completely out of balance, and we've approved way too many single-family homes for previous city councils, not during mine. When I was first here, it was me and one other person who were voting against the development. And for the last couple of years, we do have like-minded individuals voting to slow down the growth, and I'm very grateful for that. If we want to continue that, then we need citizens that are going to stand up, and we need council members that are going to stand up to slow the development. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Councilmember Resendiz. Candidate Mayzouni.
Yeah, so again, experience counts. I have worked for neighborhood housing services in Chicago, and there's plenty of different solutions that we can come up with. Really, I mean, we have to go, out to the federal, we have to go to the state, we have to go to the other counties to help out and fund us and get some grants and look at, and apply for some grants, and also look at nonprofit loans. There's plenty of that stuff out there. I mean, I'm not really sure why we're not looking at that already. So that's, again, it's really experience counts. I mean, you have to talk to somebody that knows this stuff. I have been through this stuff. Thank you.
Thank you, Candidate Mayzouni. We will now have 45-second candidate response section. We will be beginning with Councilmember Resendiz.
Thank you. None of the council members that I know of during my tenure have ever spoken about defunding the police. In fact, it's been the complete opposite. We need to fund the police, and we need to fund them and compensate them well. Another thing is that since I've been your councilman, $30 million have been allocated to repave all of the city streets, the sidewalks, and the alleys. So again, it comes down to having factual information, not believing in extreme political views or conspiracy theories. I've spoken to residents like my opponent that just moved here from San Jose, and they're all saying the same thing. Too much traffic on 25, too much growth, and they want to see it slow down. If you want to talk about how many grants we've had, then let's look at how many grants and spread factual information, because we've got tons of grants and millions of dollars coming to the city. So the information you're hearing is just not true. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Councilmember Resendiz. We will now have candidate Mayzouni.
Is this
Response time.
Response time. So there's two things I really want to respond to, actually mostly questions. One is that economy or economic 101. If you're not going to grow, how are you going to have houses for the people that want to bring in for jobs? That doesn't make sense. If you have to grow, you have to provide affordable houses so people can come here and get a job and work and grow, and raise their family. That's one issue. The other issue I'm having a problem with is if you're saying that grants are there, I don't see any actual factual work that has been done. So if you have all the money, where's the actual roads that have been fixed? Where's the actual sewage that have been fixed? Where's the actual pipes that have been fixed?
Thank you. Thank you, candidate Mayzouni. We will now have candidate Bocanegra with a response.
Well, the truth is that the mayor is basically dominates every facet of the city, and Roland, you're just his puppet, and that's obvious to everyone. So I have been endorsed by several community businesses, one being Paramount Communications, Kamal Yoga Studio, Fusion Kids Center, Hollister Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Ohana Shaved Ice, Civilian Defense Group, Vedana Freitas from Remax Gold, Chris Costa, who's with the Armed Women of America, and John F. Clower, who is a former businessman and law enforcement officer, and One Source Integration. And I just want to thank everyone for helping with my campaign, the donors and volunteers. And I'm very humbled being here today. I really appreciate you. And I hope I would be a thought in your vote.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, candidate Bocanegra. Oh, I'm so sorry. We will now be moving on to closing statements. Right? Yeah, sorry. We will now be moving on to closing statements. I'm so sorry. 30 seconds for each candidate. We will begin with candidate Mayzouni.
Sure. So again, I'm just gonna walk the talk. I have a master's degree in engineering. I have a master's degree in business. I really led many companies. I've led many departments. I've led many teams. I worked in the technology industry for over 30 years. I worked for the private sector. I also worked for the government sector. I'm bringing in experience. I'm bringing in actual solutions. I'm also a certified project manager. This is my home. I want to make sure it stays my home and stays a great place to live in.
Thank you, candidate Mayzouni. Candidate Bocanegra.
You know, I don't have any experience being a politician. I am, however, a mom, a wife, and a community member, very active to my community. Whether it be right or left, I believe in the First Amendment, and I have united myself with Mia Casey and Elia Salinas and other opposing members of our community to basically fight for our First Amendment right. So no matter where you stand in the aspect of whatever your belief system is, I will be here to represent everyone.
Thank you. Thank you, candidate Bocanegra. Finally, with closing statement, we have Councilmember Resendiz.
Thank you. Again, during my time as your councilman, I have helped to update our general plan, reform campaign finance reform, code of ethics, start an arts and culture commission, also do the outdoor downtown park, which has generated over $10 million in the last year alone, okay? If you want to talk about being a public servant, I'm going to let you know it's a very thankless job. But I certainly can attest to becoming a council member does not come without its challenges, as you can see here tonight. It has been a great honor, and I'm extremely humbled to represent the citizens of District 2, and I look forward to continuing representing them. Thank you.
Thank you.